If you want to know how to shoot a handgun the right way, this video is for you. What is up, guys? Will Workman here with Workman Protection, here to give you the skills, the tools, and the mindset to protect yourself and your family. If you haven't yet, then don't forget to like and subscribe down below so that we can get this content past the algorithm. So handgun shooting should be easy, right? You pick it up, you pull the trigger, you go bang. How hard could it be, right? If you've ever shot a handgun before, you know it's not that easy. Although shooting a handgun may look really simple, there are a lot of steps if you want to do it the right way and actually hit your target consistently. This video is sponsored by Eclipse Holsters. Eclipse Holsters has truly changed the way we shop for holsters forever. Their holsters are completely customizable with a ton of different patterns, colors, and belt clips, and even custom aluminum washers. They meet all of my holster safety requirements, and they are custom made right here in America. The best part is that your holster will ship within just 3 days. Quality custom holsters, 0 wait time, and a lifetime guarantee. Check them out at eclipseholsters.com. So the first step is going to be stance. I'm facing the target right here, and I want to just stand normally. I've got one foot in front of the other just a little bit. I'm not, doing a split, but I'm not standing with my feet perfectly side by side. I've got one foot kind of in front of the other. And I want to kind of be leaning forward on my toes. And I want to just stand like a normal person doing normal person things.
Like a normal person, okay?
Slightly lean forward on my toes, facing the target, toes facing the target, and just simply bring the gun up to my eyes, okay? So that's all I'm doing with my stance. The biggest mistake I see is people either want to move their head or their neck around like crazy, or they want to squat and add this extra motion when they get ready to shoot the gun. Something else that I see a lot is people want to lean way back. And when you're lean back like this, you tend to feel a lot more recoil of the gun and it throws you off balance. So stand like a normal person, toes facing the target, lean slightly forward. Let's talk about grip. Now, for the purpose of demonstration, I'm using this blue gun. Now, this is just a piece of plastic that looks like a Glock 19.
He's got a gun!
It has no working trigger, no working parts at all. It's simply a piece of plastic. What we're gonna do with our dominant hand is we're gonna put it behind the gun. We're gonna get as much meat as we can behind that gun and wrap those fingers around. And we're just gonna focus on squeezing front to back like a vise. We're gonna leave this thumb high and out of the way for now, and then we're gonna add this hand in. We're simply gonna fill this gap right here and put as much of that hand on the grip as we can and really seal it to this dominant hand. So we're simply gonna bring that hand in there, and then we can just rest that thumb right on top of it. Squeezing front to back with this hand and side to side with this hand. Again, like a vise. Keeping that stance where we talked about, stable, steady, and just squeezing that grip. I'm sealing that completely. So I don't have this big gap. I don't have a crack right here that needs to be filled up between my hands. I'm sealing that completely so that I'm getting as much of my hand on the texture of that gun as I can. So that's what your grip should look like. All right, let's talk about sight picture. So when you think of a picture, what do you think? You think a still shot, right? So when we think of our sight picture, is your gun ever completely still, never moving at all? No, right? Because we're human beings. We breathe, our blood pumps, we sweat, we move around, right? We're never completely stable. So when you're looking down your sights, there's gonna be some movement, and that's okay. There's gonna be a little bit of wobble. As long as that wobble stays on target or close to your target, then that's okay. So let's talk about irons and red dots. Which one is the best? I think that iron sights are much cheaper than a red dot, and for most people, they can work just fine when you're starting out. I have no issues with them. I shot one for many, many years. The red dot, on the other hand, will really be helpful when you're shooting at small targets or when you're trying to shoot faster. I've also coached a lot of people who are much older and have trouble with eyesight, and they really, really like the red dot because you don't have to focus on as many planes of view. But that's totally up to you guys and your preferences, but get a red dot. Okay, so sight movie. If I am looking down my sights, I've got my 2 rear sights like this, and then my front sight sticking up like this. I want to line those up where there is equal light in between them, and I want to line them up where the front sight is not higher than the rear sight. I want them to be equal height and equal light between them. So put that front sight right in the middle of those 2 rear sights and keep it there. Now for a red dot, it's much, much simpler. You simply put the dot on the target. Doesn't matter if it's in the middle, doesn't matter if it's in the side, the lower corner, the upper corner, it doesn't matter as long as the dot is on target. you're ready to go. Red dots are cool. So let's talk about trigger press. So I've got an unloaded gun here, no magazine, nothing in the chamber. So as I see my sights or my dot, there's a little bit of wiggle there, but that's okay because it's staying within the A zone of my target. I can simply press the trigger and try to do that without moving my sights or the dot. So the biggest thing you're doing with the trigger press, other than making the gun go bang, is you're controlling the muzzle. You're controlling whether or not the muzzle jerks down, jerks to the side, or stays on target. So what you want to focus on, pulling that trigger with pressure all the way through. So don't pull it halfway back and then pause. Really focus on adding pressure, adding pressure, adding pressure. So picture rowing a boat. If you're rowing a boat and you're doing it like this, what's gonna happen to the front of that boat? It's gonna go like this, right? It's gonna wobble all over the place. But if you're rowing a boat and you're consistently adding pressure and you're consistently just smoothly rowing it through, it's gonna get you where you wanna go, especially if you have a person on each side, but that's a deeper analogy than we wanna go. So you're gonna focus on adding pressure as if you're rowing a boat, just continually pulling all the way through. We're gonna get our stance the way we want it, then we're gonna focus on our grip. We're gonna extend so that we can see our sights or our dot, and we're gonna continually add pressure to the trigger until the gun goes off. And even if you have to verbally focus on saying, add pressure, just like that until it goes bang. So let's put some ammo in and give it a try. So we're at about 7 yards here. Let's load up and do a little bit of shooting. So I'm gonna get my stance exactly where I want it, and I'm gonna focus on my grip, adding pressure from front to back, side to side. I'm gonna see my dot, and I'm gonna gradually add pressure to the trigger, just like that. Let's do it again. Stance where I want it, grip sealing from front to back, squeezing from front to back and side to side. I'm gonna see my dot, and I'm gonna slowly add pressure to the trigger, okay? Again, add pressure, add pressure, add pressure, add pressure. Just like that. So let's move to the head box and see if we can do that again. Let's really focus on our trigger pull and really focus on adding pressure and just controlling the muzzle of that gun, adding pressure, adding pressure, adding pressure, adding pressure, add pressure. The other thing that I'm not doing as I'm leaning forward and I'm controlling the gun with my elbows slightly bent, I'm not trying to fight that recoil. I'm simply letting the recoil come up and bringing it back into where I want it. So let's do that a little bit faster and see what that looks like. I think I've only got like 5 rounds left. So just watch what the recoil does as it moves. We got to jam. Jam it. All right, 3 rounds left. Let's see what that looks like. Add pressure. Okay. So because I'm shooting faster, my accuracy is not quite the same way as it was when I'm taking my time. So I'm riding that recoil, letting it come back down, and then continuing to add pressure to the trigger and just letting that recoil ride as I'm adding pressure. So that's how to shoot a handgun the right way. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and check out my other videos if you're into all things concealed carry. Until next time, be alert, stand firm in your faith, be strong, be courageous, and let all that you do be done in love. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.